I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. and I'm here for the last day of Jewelry Week. And I'm going to talk about something a little ethereal. I'm going to talk about philosophy. So the Buddhists have a saying, the way that I do anything is the way that I do everything. Now, right off the bat, I will tell you, I do not claim to be a Buddhist. I am way too attached to way too many things to even pretend. But I have found that my life in the studio, with very few exceptions, does follow that. So when I was 21 and I first started coming here, my, shall we say, natural reserve of patience was at 0. I had 0 natural patience. All day long, I'd be like, well, I just want to finish this today, and I just have to get to this next step, because I would like make up all these scenarios in my head of like how it was going to go, which of course is never how life goes. And basically what I learned, pretty much everything that I know about life, I know from goldsmithing, a little bit from cocktail waitressing too, though. I'm not going to lie to you. I did learn a few valuable lessons in the club. But I learned that all of that chatter is total nonsense. All it is your brain just like I don't know what, just like running circles around and around and around. It has no relation to what really happens and what things really take and how much time they take. So for about 2 years, I banged my head against the wall, like just, you know what I mean? Like, but I really want to finish this today. And like, but you know what I mean? All that kind of like total nonsense. The stuff that today I tell my students, like, yeah, that's not real. So, you know, stop it. It took me about 2 years to kind of crack in a good way, in the sense of realizing that things take the time that they take. And I don't control them. I contribute maybe 50%. You know what I mean, to how things go. But beyond that, I don't have any control. And every jewelry artist, in order to become really good at what they do, they have to start to realize that like, we're just not in charge. You know what I mean? Like the physical world kind of sets all the boundaries and we can work within that. But the fact of accepting that you're not in charge of everything and that there will be fuckery at every turn, for me, was actually very emotionally healthy because it helped me to sort of realize what's actually happening. Like that voice in your head, like, I don't know who that voice is, but they don't like you very much and they are not trying to help you. So I learned a huge amount about the philosophy of life and how to live my life from making jewelry. Like my teacher used to always tell me, you don't need patience to make jewelry. You'll learn patience from making jewelry. And of course, I remember at the time she would walk away and I'd be like, so annoying. But of course, that's the same thing that I tell my students now, because it's really true. And I feel like whether you choose to make handmade jewelry or you're the kind of person that appreciates it, there is so much about the human experience that gets wrapped up in the process. So basically what I have found over the years is that the choices I make day in, day out, they matter, because it's never just, oh, I'll just do this for this and it doesn't matter. All of those choices build up to give me the result I want. Now, if we're talking about a piece of jewelry, it's like having work ethic and a high standard so that I know I'm making something beautiful. And isn't that really what we're all doing with our life? The choices that you make, you know, buying from the farmer's market, buying from individual artists, you know, stuff like that makes a difference. You make a difference in other people's lives and you create the world around you the way that you want to see it. So I feel like everything that we do matters. I mean, I learned that from making jewelry, but hopefully all the rest of you learned that from something else. So also goldsmithing taught me about the value of time, about how you spend your time and what you get out of it in the end. Because I can't tell you how many times like I'll be discussing a project with a student and they'll say, well, I mean, that could take a month or that could take a year or whatever it is. And I'm like, but the month or the year is going to pass anyway. You do not have an option on the menu that says, I'm going to save that month. Like, that's not a thing. So you either decide that at the end of that time, you're going to have something amazing that you can be really proud of, or you don't. The month is going to go by. It's just the same. So it's really about deciding where you put your time and attention. And I really feel like it's the same way for someone who's choosing to buy a handmade piece. They're deciding that their time and their energy and their money should go towards something that's of real value to the world. So in order for art to thrive and for artists to thrive, we need to be able to reach those people that it means something to them. People that feel that the whole world shouldn't be mass produced, that think that the people who create art should be the ones who are able to at least reap some of the rewards of their efforts, rather than a few people in a corporation basically making all the money for all the production. Not to go all communist on you, but it really is important how you want the world to be. How you spend your time, your energy, and your money dictates the world that you live in. I feel like as the world does become more and more mass produced, you get almost like a backlash. You get people that are like, I don't want to live my life that way. Those aren't my values. That's not the world that I want to live in. So I do feel like you see a resurgence of people who choose their food very carefully, who are asking where did my sweater come from? Where does my food come from? And your art as well. I mean, I think a lot of people are awakening to the idea that their food and their art and their clothing should not just be a product of the lowest bidder. That's not a way to live a sustainable, examined life that you feel proud of. Now, I know that nobody makes handmade jewelry because they just need a job. I mean, don't get me wrong, I need a job. Like, I live in the late stage capitalist society like everybody else. But nobody says, I don't know, I gotta do something. I'll make jewelry. Like, it's hard. You do it because you have to, because you're driven to do it. I mean, I can't even begin to explain the level of dedication and obsession, let's be honest, in all the people that I know that really have become good at this. It is not something you do just because. You are driven to do it. So ultimately for all of us, I think it all becomes like, what are the answers to those basic questions in life? What do I want to spend my time and energy on? What do I think is of value? And how can I help create the world around me by my choices? And to me, that's the ultimate answer to why handmade matters. Because when we choose handmade, we choose to make a better world around us. So hopefully now when you look at a handmade piece of jewelry, you'll be able to see a little bit behind the curtain, what's behind it, all that love and care and sweat and swearing and years of hard work that go into making a handmade piece of art, something that'll make you happy for your whole life. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me for Jewelry Week. I mean, Jewelry Week is amazing because it's how all of my weeks are. So it's just so nice to feel like I'm sharing that experience with so many people. I hope you learned a few things that you didn't know, and hopefully maybe I managed to put across why handmade matters so much to each of us, because it's our life.